DTOAV Pharmacy. This company was founded in 1978 by a couple, Ivan and Lynette Salzman. And when they found this company, they discovered what was a gap in the society between the ordinary South African, the middle class South African, and the rich South African. What they looked at was the pricing model of the traditional pharmacies that existed at that particular moment. And they noticed that the healthcare and wellness products are inflated drastically. They're expensive. And the strategy that they took for their company to become successful the way how it is today was to What's up, visionaries? Welcome back to another episode of Daily Thoughts of a Visionary. I'm very glad to be bringing this episode to you guys. And today I wanted to talk about a topic that has been sitting in my mind for the whole of last week. And I just couldn't get my mind off thinking about this whole topic, right? One day, I think it was a Tuesday last week when I was at work, it just hit my mind how I've been finding struggles with building my brand. I'm a founder and CEO of Vision Nexus, a media company that is molded to help promote emerging and successful businesses. And our mission and vision to do that is through my social media platforms and through the influence that I'm building using this podcast and Beyond the Vision. So as I was thinking, it came to my mind that, it's so hard to build a brand from scratch. There's a lot of steps that as a founder and a CEO, you have to undergo them, and you have to allow yourself to undergo them without wanting to take shortcuts or without wanting to, get an instant gratification or a boom moment to say I've made it out of the blue. And these steps are not easy steps. They are hard things that as a person, they may cause you depression. They may cause you to not be happy. They may cause you to be somebody that you don't even like, the kind of a person that you are, all because you're always focused on your brand that you're trying to build, but it's hard. So in this video, I just wanted to communicate several steps or several things that I'm very sure that if we can apply these things, they will ensure that we don't give up on our dreams. I know that sometimes you feel like it's better to just leave it all behind. It's better to just walk away and call it quits and just stay and get used to the ordinary life. But listen, man, there is still hope, and there is a lot of things that you just need to apply. You just need to take some of those things and apply them, and your brand will flourish and you will become successful in whatever that you're working on, whatever brand you're working on. These are the principles that I believe if you can apply them, you will succeed. So to just back up these steps that I'm going to share with you guys, I want to talk about a story of one of the biggest pharmacies here in South Africa, DTOAV Pharmacy. This company was founded in 1978 by a couple, Ivan and Lynette Salzman. And when they found this company, they discovered what was a gap in the society between the ordinary South African, the middle class South African, and the rich South African. What they looked at was the pricing model of the traditional pharmacies that existed at that particular moment. And they noticed that the healthcare and wellness products are inflated drastically. They're expensive. And the strategy that they took for their company to become successful the way how it is today was to market their business or their pharmacy as a discount pharmacy. Today, when you have a DTOAV rewards card, you are able to buy many products at DTOAV on discount. More especially if you're buying some things in bulk, you get discounts. So this story highlighted to me something that is very, very important, because in the midst of this strategy that they had, they still encountered many challenges, because people at that particular time in South Africa, they were used to the pricing model of the current pharmacies at that particular moment. They were used to the fact that, healthcare products are expensive, wellness products are expensive. So to them, it was a surprise that there is a new pharmacy now, but this pharmacy offers discounts when you buy healthcare and wellness products. So they started to question the quality of those products. They started to question if they will do what they are buying them to do. So that was a challenge, obviously, for pharmacy. Based on the sales, based on the footprint, it was a challenge, but they kept going. And to show sustainability of their strategy, to this day, it is still the same principle that they are using at Discount Pharmacy. When you have a discount card, I just mentioned, you are able to buy many of their products on discount. That was a strategy that that couple identified. And to this day, that company is still rooted on the same strategy. So these things that I'm going to share with you, they are things that are related to how this family built Discount Pharmacy to what it is today. It is one of the biggest pharmacies in Southern Africa. In South Africa, almost everywhere you go, you will find Discount Pharmacy. In all the provinces in South Africa, you have Discount Pharmacy. So what was the secret? What are these steps that, as a person who is working on developing your own brand, you should follow to ensure that you don't ever give up no matter what happens? And you make sure that you don't just keep going blindly, but you keep going, innovating, changing things, and making sure that you're adapting and you are on par with what is happening in the world. There's several things that I've written down here. And the first thing that I've written is that in building your brand, identify the gap and develop a strategy. If you look at the way how this family built Discount Pharmacy, when they were starting it up, they started with just one store in Johannesburg. What they identified was the gap in the society, that an average South African can't afford a healthcare product because it is very inflated, it is expensive. So they came up with a strategy to say, you know what, our pharmacy is going to be known as a discount pharmacy. Everyone, when they talk about discount, they think about the discount pharmacy. So they know if they want a product that is X amount at a certain pharmacy, if they go to discount, they will get it with a lesser price. That was their strategy, right? So for whatever that you may be working on, it doesn't matter what kind of a brand it is. It may be you are offering a service. It may be that it's in sales. You're selling whatever you're selling. This is the principle that you need. Identify the gap in the society and develop a strategy. You cannot bring a business to an area where they don't need it. You cannot develop a successful business with something that is not needed in the society. It has to be something that people are eagerly awaiting for. It has to be something that when you take it to the society, they will receive it and they will see that actually this is what we needed all along. Discount Pharmacy, the way people were kind of, skeptical to buy their products, but that's how it is for every brand. When you're starting something new, people are not familiar to it. So naturally, they will try and not, pay much attention to what is new, but stick to what is old. Change is not very easy for people. Even to this day, if a new store opens, you won't find many people going to buy either food or whatever it is in that store because they are used to the traditional stores that we know. You know what I mean? So it was the same thing. Very same principle it applies in building your brand. Identify the gap and develop a strategy. That's the way how you can make it out and you can make sure that you don't ever give up. Because when you identify the gap and you develop a strategy, you may not start up by having thousands and thousands of customers. But trust me, the feedback that you'll be getting from the small amount of people who are paying attention to what you're building, it will give you the drive to keep going. The feedback you will be getting from your colleagues, it will be giving you the drive to keep going. I see it with myself. Right now, my podcast, Beyond the Vision, it's still at its foundation level. And I'm comfortable where it is. I'm content with where I am right now because I believe this is where I'm supposed to be. This is a journey. But what I love is how people give me reviews about this podcast. It's how people in my workplace, they always find a way to encourage me unknowingly. They don't know that they're doing something that is keeping me going on a daily basis. It is helping me to never ever give up by just telling me that, Vision, I watched one of your episodes on Beyond the Vision and I love what you're doing. To me, the previous night, I was finding myself sad. I was thinking, "Ish, I made this episode, it didn't get views that I anticipated." But that person, they don't know that they're speaking life to my brand. They don't know that they're speaking energy to my brand. They don't know that they're speaking courage to my brand. So it doesn't matter that your customers or your community is small at a particular time. But if you have identified the gap and you are developing a sustainable strategy, trust me, the small amount of people who will be paying attention, they will be giving you the drive to keep going, and you're not going to give up. Trust me, you're not going to give up. And the second part of these steps is that ensure sustainability in your strategy. So there's some people who make mistakes when they are trying to build a business. They develop strategic models that are not sustainable. They develop things that are that will give them instant gratification, that will give them, when you feel like, now I'm popping, my brand is popping and things are working out at that particular time, but the strategy that you're using is not going to be sustainable. You're not going to be able to use that when you're 60 years old. So I say, if you sit down, you identify the gap, and you develop a strategy, but the strategy that you have, you don't see yourself doing it at 60 years old. Maybe you're 25 right now, on average, but you don't see yourself applying the same strategy when you're 60 years old. Leave it. It's not going to work. Because the strategy that you need to develop, it has to be something that 50 years from now, it will still be applied and it will work if it is applied correctly. Same as Discount. They started off as a discount pharmacy. Today, they are still making sales. People are still going to their store. They're still going to buy their products. Why? Because they know they're going to buy some of their products on discount by just having a discount rewards card. So your strategy has to be something that is going to be sustainable in the long run. It shouldn't be something that will work for the next 5 years and then poof, it's dead. It shouldn't be something that will work for 1 year and then poof, it's dead. No, it has to be something that is sustainable, it's intact, and its foundation, it is based on what is happening in the environment. Because everything that we are doing right now, it's not for one person, it's for the people. Like I once said it on my podcast that, I've identified, or I have realized, that life is all about the people. We came to the world to serve one another. We came into this world to help one another, not to live as an independent species when you are just one person. We came here to live together. Simultaneously, we have to help each other grow. That's what it's life. Well, according to my thinking. But this is the second point. Your strategy has to be something that is sustainable. And the third point, don't keep on going blindly. So this is one of the most important things that as a founder and a CEO, you need to always remind yourself every now and then that I should not keep going blindly. There is people who've been working on brands for more than 5 years, 10 years, 15 years right now, but they're still an average entrepreneur. Some of them, they're still average entrepreneurs, maybe just because their kind of model takes time to build. But many of them, they are still average entrepreneurs, all because they are keeping on going blindly. They don't want to learn new things. They don't want to develop. They don't want to innovate. They don't want to improve. They don't want to adapt to what is happening in the world. They don't want to keep themselves on par with what is happening in the world. That is the reason why I'm saying the third point is that don't keep on going blindly. A person who's just running blindly, they don't know what they're gonna hit. They don't know what is coming next. They don't know what to expect. They don't know what to anticipate. They don't know how to even strategize themselves to say, I'm going to prepare for a time of emergency. I'm going to prepare for a time of COVID. Just giving an example. They don't even know how to do those things. But you need to be someone who is well aligned in your brain in such a way that you know where you're going, and whatever is happening, you're finding ways to maneuver around. There is a reason why it takes 12 years to go from the first grade to the 12th grade, and there is a reason why a bachelor's degree takes 3 years minimum to complete. Also, there is a reason why every person starts as a junior in the workplace. You don't start as a senior in corporate. And the same principle applies when you're building your brand. It's going to take a tons of time. It's not going to be a boom thing. It's not going to be like, a viral thing. It's not going to be a viral moment. It's not going to be one moment that you will say, now I've made it. No, it's all a progression of small steps. These things that I'm sharing with you, these are the things that you need to apply amongst many others so that you can get to a point where you say, my brand is successful. It's not one moment. It's not defined by one moment. It is a progression of different developments, different improvements, different innovations, changes in how you do your things, being strategic about what you're doing. You know what I mean? So you have to be willing to undergo the pain, to undergo the tough path, to undergo all these baby steps, but trusting that one day it's gonna work. But it's only gonna work if you're doing it right. Don't keep going blindly. The last point that I'm gonna make, this is actually a question. I don't know what you were thinking before you saw this video, but this is a question to you. What happens if you give up on your dreams? Answer that. Just answer yourself. What happens if you give up on your dreams? And if you were to ask me for my opinion about this question, I will tell you that when you give up on your dreams, or after giving up on your dreams, you become nothing other than an ordinary human being. Because if you are in your 20s right now, what's going to happen is that you're going to start a family, have kids, and then your next goal is always going to be trying to have job security. It doesn't matter what position you're in. It doesn't matter what degree you have. It doesn't matter what position you hold at work. It doesn't matter. But what you're going to always be trying to do on a daily basis is to ensure that you have job security, because you have a family to feed. And your dreams now no longer matters. They just remain dreams. And what is obvious and is just the truth, that's what happens when you give up on your dreams. You're not going to be genuinely happy with the life that you will be living at that particular time. You can ask people whom they gave up on their dreams, and right now they have settled for a life that they didn't want. They are not happy. That's what happens, and that's what will happen. You will just find a strategy to accept the reality as it is, but you're not genuinely happy because you gave up on something that made you who you are. Life is purposeless if you are giving up on your dreams, because your dreams are what is gonna keep your mind stimulated. That's what is gonna keep on giving you joy, happiness in times of struggles, in times of pain. That's what is always gonna keep your head up. But once you give up on it, it's done. You know what I mean? It's done. You convince yourself that you're happy, but you are genuinely not happy. So I'm saying this to you. Keep going. It doesn't matter how hard it is, but keep going. If it's your dream, it's well defined, you've identified the gap, you have a strategy, or you're developing a strategy, and you feel strongly about this, keep going. Just don't keep going blindly. Because if you keep going blindly, you're not going to make it, and you're going to end up giving up on your dreams. And trust me, the life that you live after giving up on your dreams, it sucks. That life sucks because you are no longer the person that you're supposed to be. So all I can say to you is that keep going, don't give up. It doesn't matter what you encounter on the way. Make sure that you have a strategy that is sustainable. But if you give up on your dreams, the life that you're gonna live sucks, and it will depress you for the rest of your life. You're not gonna be happy. You will just convince yourself that it's okay and learn to accept the reality but you can make it work. Just keep going, put in the work, innovate, change things, improve, articulate yourself, put yourself out there, and make sure that you are seen. Make sure that you're promoting your brand the way you're supposed to. Trust me, it's gonna work. There's no way it's not gonna work. I'm done.